You have to admit, as sick as it is to say, one-punch knockouts satiate our appetite for violence. But following are the best one knockouts in both boxing and MMA. Unsurprisingly, the first on the list is Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem. One of the more exciting characters in MMA today, Ngannou is a nightmare to face in the octagon. His God-given physical talent compensated for any technical mistakes. His devastating knockout against Overeem shows us that the more technical fighter doesn't always win. An uppercut from hell sent the veteran kickboxer to a place where time doesn't exist. There wasn't any setup to the punch. The uppercut wasn't quick and tight, but it demonstrated pure, raw, violent power. Conor Mcgregor has become the biggest name in the UFC, and his quick finish of Jose Aldo is one of the main reasons why. After deflecting a kick from McGregor, Aldo pounced in and tried to get in position, but the Notorious connected with a lightning-fast cross, knocking the Brazilian legend out cold. The fight only lasted 13 seconds. That night, he was etched in stone for carrying out the fastest finish in a UFC title fight. When a single blow completely alters the careers and legacies of two of the best boxers of recent decades and realigns the dynamic of one of boxing's most significant rivalries, it has to rank on this list. Keep in mind, Pacquiao boasts a great chin, and that Márquez was losing the fight until his monstrous right hand decided matters. One perfectly placed punch left the Filipino fighter's face plastered on the canvas. Márquez put a definitive end to the quadrilogy in a bittersweet but awe-inspiring moment. Chuck the Iceman Lidell took down rival Randy Couture with one brutal blow at UFC 52, which at the time was the most anticipated event in MMA history, primarily because Couture knocked Chuck out in their first fight. This time, it was Lidell's turn to return the favor. Moments after landing a few punches, Lidell snuck a perfectly placed right hand into Couture's chin, knocking him out to take the UFC light heavyweight title. UFC 100 is undoubtedly one of the promotion's most significant events of all time. Dan Henderson's explosive knockout of Michael Bisping made the event a night to remember. Leading up to the fight, the Englishman talked a lot of trash.
The way I know I can fight, then I know I can beat him.
Hindu, however, let the fist do all the talking. After knocking Michael stiff with a wild overhand right, following up with an unnecessary yet iconic dive, the fighters ended up fighting again many years later for the middleweight title, but Michael exacted revenge after 5 brutal rounds in a close fight. Next on the list, Rashad Evans melts the Iceman at UFC 88. Chuck Liddell already appeared on this list, but he's on the other side of the punch this time. The two fighters battled back and forth in the opening round, but Sugar Evans scored enough shots to break Liddell's composure. By the second round, he got sloppy with his punches and lowered his guard. Liddell backed Evans into the cage, and just as he was about to strike with his right hand, Evans fired off a swift jab before landing a booming right perfectly on Liddell's chin. Without one of the greatest knockout punches of all time, no knockout list is complete. George Foreman. Foreman regained the heavyweight title 20 years after losing it to Ali in Zaire, breaking the world record for the oldest to win the heavyweight world title. Losing on the scorecards, things didn't look good for George after 9 rounds with the younger Michael Moore. Out of nowhere, a right cross from Foreman blasted Moore into unconsciousness. Foreman fought a few more times after finally regaining the title, retiring after losing to Shannon Briggs.
And new linear heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon Briggs.
Next is Lawler vs. Woodley at UFC 201. Tyron Woodley seems to summon his power out of thin air. Blink and you might miss it. Lawler was set to defend his welterweight belt against Woodley after already defending his throne twice in all-time great wars with Rory McDonald and Carlos Condit. Having one of the best chins in MMA, no one expected Woodley to fold Robbie with a single punch. Many fans speculate that Robbie's crowd-pleasing style took a toll on his chin and catalyzed his deterioration as a fighter. Years after the greatest female fight of all time, Joanna returned to rematch Weilo Zhang. However, things were nowhere near as similar as the first fight. Weili, now a Cejudo in her training camp, significantly changed her style, incorporating more wrestling and refusing to get sucked into the blood and guts fight like the first time. Joanna couldn't seem to handle Zhang's raw strength and power. The Polish fighter seemed drained by the second round. After JJ missed a punch, Weili recognized the opportunity to throw a spinning back fist. Not only did the back fist land, but it knocked the strawweight legend Spark out. Watching JJ get knocked out and retire straight after the fight was heartbreaking for Manny. But the loss doesn't change the fact that she's one of the best female fighters of all time. Finally, Usman vs. Masvidal II tops the list. Many expected Masvidal to have the advantage in the striking department and believed Usman would comfortably wrestle his way to a victory. But the Nigerian shocked the world when he landed a picture-perfect right hand, bashing the East Coast gangster to the shatter realm. If you enjoyed this, make sure to let us know by leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.